Hello, my name is Kevin Ramirez, and today I'm going to be explaining how to edit the Titan TV news. First thing you're going to do is you're going to import two things. You're going to import the news itself and the Titan News care package. If you want to edit anything in Premiere Pro, first you have to import it. To do that, on the very top left of your screen, you're going to hit File, then Import. Then you're going to select what footage you're going to need. In this case, it's the news, and it's going to be called Hyperdeck. Usually it's the most recent one, but again, you might have to check which Hyperdeck it is or which video it is that you're going to have to import. In terms of the Titan TV care package, you're just going to find where the actual folder is, click it once, and then select import folder, and it's going to bring in everything for you in a nice little bin. Inside this care package, you're going to find everything that you need to edit the news, including images and any videos that we might be using frequently, like a transition or the intro. While you're inside this Titan TV care package, the first thing you're going to want to do is double click on the intro. When you double click the Titan TV intro, it's going to appear in your source panel. This is where you select clips to put into your timeline, which will eventually be your final product. What we need to do to this video is mark where it begins and mark where it ends so we can drag it onto the timeline. To mark the beginning, you're going to drag the playhead all the way to the end, and you're going to press this button called Mark In, or you can use the I on your keyboard. Then you're going to drag your playhead all the way to the end where there's a black screen and mark your out point, or you can use O on your keyboard. What this did is selected your entire clip that you're going to be then dragging into your timeline. But before you can drag it onto your timeline, you need to do one extra step. Because the news is a very complex video, you need to add a new video channel. To do that, right next to this eyeball on the third video channel, in this gray area right here, you're going to right click and press Add Track. You're going to see a new video track, video 4, right here. Now that you have that and your Titan TV intro with your in point and your out point, you can double click and drag onto your timeline right at the beginning. Now that you have that, we are going to go to the actual news. There's two ways to get back to your original project panel. Either on this top bar, you see my project panel is right here. You can just click on that and you're going to be back to where you were. If you do not see this up here, another way you can get there is by pressing the two arrows and pressing project. Now you can see the clips that you imported along with the folder where you have the Titan News care package, where you could just double click and go back to any point. So once you're back in your project panel, you're going to double click on the news that you have imported, and it's going to appear in your source. This is the part where we have to go through and snip away at this news to get all of the different elements into your timeline. So first step is going to be finding the beginning.
We've all been ready.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning and welcome to Titan TV. I'm
Alright, so now that you are at the beginning-ish, you need to mark the beginning of the intro. Now that part's a little bit tricky because like I did just now, I passed it just a little bit. So if I put my mark in now and just drag it into to the timeline, it's going to be too late. They're already
Natalie
talking.
Sheffer.
My name is Alea Smith, and
So what you need to do is go back just a little bit, and you kind of need to time your pause so you can actually place your endpoint at the correct position.
Okay.
oh, yeah.
So in case you have a really bad reaction time, you can always use the arrow keys to adjust the position of your playhead. You can pay attention to this number, which is just a timestamp of the video. When I press the left key, it goes back 1 frame, and when I press the right key, it goes forward 1 frame. So you could press the left key a few times, like 10 or 15 times. Notice how that number went down. And then press your endpoint. And now that it's the beginning of the video, you can check, okay, did I begin it at the right time? Was it too early or was it too late? Let's see.
Good morning and welcome to Titan TV. I'm Natalie.
So just like that, I think I did a pretty good job right there. So next we want to mark our out point. So we're just going to let this play until they're done announcing the intro.
Sheffer.
My name is Alea Smith, and today is Monday, October 2nd.
Wait,
So notice how Natalie talked very, very quickly immediately after Alea finished talking. So we're going to have to mark the end point really closely between where Alea finished talking and Natalie started talking. Because Natalie talking like just randomly like that's going to look messy if you keep that in. So again, use the left arrow key, press it a few times. Also following their lips, it kind of helps to figure out when she started talking. So now that her, God, this sounds so bad. Now that her mouth is nice and shut, we can mark our out point. Now we need to make sure that our in and out points are actually good. To go to your in point, you press this button, and it's going to send your playhead to the beginning of your marked clip. So you could press play and make sure it's all good.
Good morning and welcome to Titan TV. I'm Natalie Sheffer.
My name is Alea Smith, and today is Monday, October 2nd.
Another thing to look for when you're playing the video, if you look right here, right at the end of when they're finished talking, you're going to see a flash of this icon right here. That's going to let you know that's your out point. That's going to help you. It's going to help you time your shots better. So just pay attention over here while I play this clip.
Welcome to Titan TV. I'm Natalie Sheffer.
My
Again,
name
right
is Alea
here.
Smith, and today is Monday, October 2nd.
Wait, I thought we were.
So that flash was the end of your out bracket. So that kind of gives you a gauge of where your out placement is. If you're not too sure about your out placement, if you want to go to your out bracket, you can press this go to out button and it's going to go to the end. And then again, this is where Natalie started talking.
Wait, I thought we were. Oh, is today the 2nd?
So things to look for when I was looking through that. Okay, Alea stopped talking and Natalie wasn't talking, like out of place. So that means Alea finished doing her piece and it was also before Natalie started talking. So it looks nice and clean. So I'm pretty sure these in and out points are good. I think they're pretty good. We could always adjust them later. Now we're going to our timeline. We need to drag our playhead to a very, very specific point. So you're going to notice with this intro, there is a transition already built into it. And you're going to notice how these bars are opening up into a black screen. What I'm looking for is this video to begin right before these bars open up the black screen. So you're going to notice how these bars close. See, right here is when I want to make sure that you're beginning the intro at this exact point. Remember, you can use your arrow keys to go frame by frame, adjusting exactly where you're about to place your video. So again, make sure those bars are closed, and from there, with your clip selected, double click, and you're going to drag this video to video channel number 2 and make sure it is hugging the blue line. It's going to try to want to snap to this position where this clip ends, but make sure it's hugging the blue line on video track number 2. So now when we press play, it looks nice and clean.
Good morning and welcome to Titan TV. I'm Natalie Sheffer.
My name is Alea Smith, and today is Monday, October 2nd.
I will say, notice how the music kind of cut off. That's because this clip wasn't fully extended out. With this intro, the music is also tied to this video. I'll go back to the intro in the Titan TV care package to show you that real fast. So notice how we put our endpoint here, right? We put our endpoint here, but there's still music at this bottom end. You can hear that a little bit. If to help fix that, to make it like so the music doesn't cut off, you just drag this clip. You double click and you could drag this little bar all the way to the end until it doesn't drag no more. And now it should sound alright.
Good morning and welcome to Titan TV. I'm Natalie Sheffer.
My name is Alea Smith, and today is
Alright,
Monday,
good
October
enough.
2nd.
Good enough. That's perfect. That is great. Alright, the next part is the lengthiest part of editing the news. Now you need to go through, starting from where they did their intro, which it should have stayed marked. You could press here out to go to that point. Now you're just going through and doing the same thing to other parts of the news. I'll do a few examples.
The football team.
Okay, so just as I predicted, Natalie did give us some insightful news right before where I thought they actually began the news, because I see Alea murmuring a little bit. So you want to make sure you're capturing all the announcements, so it's a good idea to look over this entire video just to make sure you didn't miss any. So like here-ish,
I don't have to redo it. I didn't talk over you.
right here-ish. So again, you're going to mark your in where she begins talking and mark your out where she finishes talking.
The football team.
Alright, she started talking there. Press the left arrow key a few times to go back a few frames. Right here-ish, I believe. We're going to mark our in. Hit the space bar or press play.
The football team absolutely destroyed the Kudos last Friday. Make sure to brag about it to all of your friends. I know.
So right about there is when they finish the announcement. So you want to mark your out point. Again, double click and drag to the end of your other clip. So right here should make a smooth transition to the next one. We'll hit play, just make sure it looks
My name is
good, it
Alea
doesn't
Smith,
look
and today
messy.
is Monday, October 2nd.
The football team absolutely destroyed the Kudos last Friday. Make sure to brag about it to all of your friends. I know.
Alright, so it looks like I didn't trim it enough. So if you kind of messed up just like I did, so I kind of cut it off a little bit late. She kind of talks in this a few frames. What you can do, so you don't have to delete this video, go back and then put your in and out points again. You can press play here.
Brag about it to all of your friends.
put pause when she stops talking. And again, while you're hovering over the edge of the video, double click and you can drag to the blue line, and it's gonna shorten your video for you. So let's go over that again.
Today is Monday, October 2nd.
The football team absolutely destroyed the Kudos last Friday. Make sure to brag about it to all of your friends.
Alright, now that's perfect. I'm gonna do one more as an example, and then it'll be up to you to do the rest of the news. Alright, so now I'm looking for the next part of where, since Natalie did this part, Alea will be doing the next part. So in case there's a huge gap like this one, like, oh, I have to look through 3 minutes of footage because I don't know when Alea started. There's a very good chance that the beginning of Alea's little announcement will be near where Natalie gets cut into the video. So notice how Alea gets cut to Natalie. There's a good chance it's going to be in this range. It's not guaranteed, but it's a good chance.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah. The boys' golf team goes against.
Alright, so I have found where Alea started doing her bit of the news. Again, we're going to try to find the beginning of where she starts talking.
The boys.
Right about there. I'm going to press the left arrow key quite a few times. A good tell is making sure her mouth is closed. That's probably a good sign that you're at the beginning of your video after clicking the left arrow key a few times. Mark your end point and play it until Alea stops talking.
The boys' golf team goes against DeLand tonight. The event starts at 3:30.
Press pause there. Mark your out point. Double click, drag to the end. Press play here.
Brag about it to all of your friends.
The boys' golf team goes against DeLand tonight. The event starts at 3:30.
If it sounds good, then you're on to the next part. Just going to the next part. Keep on going through this footage, marking your in and out points on all of the footage until you get to the very end. Alright, now this is just a highly abbreviated version of the news, but it's there to prove a purpose. Again, make sure all of your clips make sense. Make sure all of the clips have well-oriented in and out points so that they actually go from clip to clip smoothly without them talking in the middle of a cut.
5. Daytona State is still up.
Just like that. And make sure you have the outro at the end.
That's all the news we have for you today.
Thanks so much for watching, and remember,
It's all about the you.
With outro, it's a good idea to have a little bit of extra footage at the end. Not too much, just a little bit. Because later we're going to be putting a transition at the very end, and we need a little bit of footage. So don't just cut it off right here. Leave a little bit after that. Probably like 3 or 4 seconds. The second part of editing news is adding the green screen. We're actually going to put an image behind them, so it's not just a green screen. First step of doing that, make sure that nothing is selected. Like earlier I had that selected. Just make sure nothing is selected. Just click empty space somewhere in the timeline. Just make sure it's not selected. That's the point. Now you are going to double click on the area after all of your clips and drag over all of the video clips in video channel 2 to select them all at once. If you can't see all of the video clips at once because it's too zoomed in, just like that, like there's no, like you can't really select them, then if you ever want to zoom out, all you have to do on your keyboard, you can press the minus and plus key to zoom in and out. See, like that view, I can easily double click and drag to select all of them. Now you're going to go into your effects browser by clicking the double arrows on this little box, these double arrows. Go into effects. In the search bar, you're looking up something called Ultra Key. Once you see it, you're going to double click it. You're going to double click it and drag onto your selected clips. This next part is kind of a game because I try to edit these in less than 30 minutes so I could actually go home on time. So what I like to do is press play while keying out the background. But for the sake of this little explanation, I'll go slowly. So first thing you're going to do before we actually start pressing on the green screen to change its color, you're going to go back into your project panel into the Titan TV care package. Notice how I cannot see it right now. It's like all the way over there. So if I cannot see the panel that I'm trying to go to, again, double arrows, project, and now you're back to, I guess it's the home screen. Double click the news care package, and now we're going to drag the background into the timeline. So once you see it, double click and drag. You're going to put the background at the beginning of your very first clip on video channel 2. Right now you can't see it, but we're going to change that very soon. Make sure you have only the pink image selected, and you're going to drag all the way to the end of all your videos, which is right here. It should snap onto this line, but in case you're not sure if it's like actually at the end, you can always press the plus key to zoom in. Make sure it's right up on the edge. Now we are going to add the graphics that are going to go right beside the anchors. Nope, I take that back. We're actually going to key out all the green screen. To use the Ultra Key, what you're going to do is press on the clip. Make sure you have the clip selected. Make sure your playhead is over the clip so you could actually see it. That's a pretty important thing. Make sure the playhead is over the clip you're about to key, because if the playhead is over here, you click on this and you try to key this color, when you go back it's going to be off. I can promise you that. So again, make sure your playhead is over the clip. Select the clip, and then up here you're going to click Effect Controls. Whoa. Make sure you have that selected. That clip is what I'm trying to say. Over here you're going to scroll down, and you're going to see this Ultra Key panel. Now you're going to see Key Color. You're going to click the eyedropper and click the lightest part of the green screen you could find. Make sure you're clicking the lightest because that's how it'll look cleaner. So like over here is probably like the lightest area I can see right now. So we're going to click it. Notice how the background is a little bit small. To fix that, we're going to click the Titan News backdrop. Make sure you're in Effect Controls, and then drag this scale up by double clicking it and dragging it until it reaches the full screen. A good number for the scale is going to be 430. That's like my magic number for this background, as I like to call it. Make sure that scale is at 430 for the Titan News backdrop. Now you're going to every clip, selecting it, Effects Controls, Key Color, click the lightest part of the background. And you're doing that for every single clip. Again, lightest part of the background. Because I'll show you, if you try to click something that's a little bit darker, say down here, it's going to look hazy, just like that. So you want to be making sure you're pressing the lightest part. Again, next clip. Make sure you have the clip selected. Playhead is over the clip. Scroll down. Key color eyedropper. Lightest part of the background. So keep on going down the clips. Lightest part of the background. Keep on going. This is the end. Lightest part of the background. And then that should be all of the clips that you have to key out. So again, just go through all of the clips and make sure you're setting the key color to the lightest part of the green screen. Now we're adding the graphics. This is where we're going to be using a lot of the Titan News care package with all of the images. So in the very beginning, this is the intro. For the intro, we're always going to be putting this graphic of the Titan TV bar. So all you're going to do is make sure you double click it. It's going to go to your source. Double click the photo and drag to the beginning of the clip. Try your best to get it to snap there. And now, it might help if you zoom in a little bit with the plus key on your keyboard. You're going to grab the edge of this image. There should be like a little bracket that appears. Double click and drag until you see it snap onto the end of this bottom clip. Now notice how it's kind of in the middle. We're going to change that with effect controls. So select your Titan TV bar, make sure it's highlighted like that. Go up here, effects controls. We're going to be changing the position and the scale of it. You can play around with double clicking and dragging. You can play around with the position stuff. Increase the size up and down. Make sure it's not too big. Right here is a decent size, if I do say so myself. We're going to drag it to the edge. But try and make sure the letter's not like outside the edge. Just give it a little bit of room. I trust that you have good judgment. And use the other side right here to change its vertical position. Drag it about right there. That looks good. Now we're going into every single piece of news, and we're going to see what they're talking about.
Football team absolutely destroyed.
So right here in this video clip, they're talking about our victory against the Kudas and how we absolutely destroyed them. So what we're going to do, luckily, in my Titan TV News care package, we're going to be looking for a football. Oh, there it is. Double click it. It appears in your source. I'll double click the image and drag to the beginning of the clip. It should be basically hugging your other image. Again, select this photo. Make sure your playhead's over it. Select it, effect controls, and play around with the position and scale until it's just right. And again, make sure you're dragging the image to the end of the video clip. So just like that, remember, you're grabbing the edge and dragging it. And then just like that, you go into the next one.
Boys golf team goes against Deland.
They're talking about golf. Double click the golf. Drag it. Oh, I kind of missed. Double click, drag. See, this one's kind of going over it. So instead of double clicking here and dragging it out, we're going to double click and push in to the beginning of the clip. And again, select the golf clip. Make sure your playhead's over it so you can actually see it. Change its size. Drag it to a nice position. and rinse and repeat. Let's see what they're talking about here.
The bowling team has an away tournament.
Bowling team, very nice. Bowling ball here. Drag it. Adjust the size. Click the bowling ball. Make sure playhead's over it. Effect controls. Adjust the size. Adjust the position. Next clip.
Daytona State is still offering free
Daytona State. Alright, we're going down. Daytona State here. Have that in the little care package. Double click. Drag it into your timeline. Drag your clip to change the size of it until it reaches the end of the video clip. Select the image. Effect controls. Again, change the size. Play around with the numbers until you get it just right. Remember, you're double clicking and dragging to change the position. One moment. And finally, there's the last part. This is the intro, so we're going to leave that alone for now. So from this point, what you should have is the Titan TV intro, the clips of the actual news with their corresponding images on top, just like that, and the outro ready to be made. So we're going to work on that now. If you look on our YouTube channel, one of our other newses, you'll notice that there's we play the music again, like as they're making the U shape, just like end things off, kind of like outro music, basically. So what we're gonna do is drag the music from the intro, and we're gonna add keyframes so we can make it grow when they start like forming the U. I'll show you how to do that now. So go into your Titan News care package, double click, and go back to the Titan TV intro. Double click that. Now I don't know if this green marker is gonna appear when you go to edit this video when I send over the Titan News care package, but if it is, you want to make sure you set your out point to this marker. It should sound here. I'm just gonna drag this music out just so you could have an idea of what it's gonna sound like. So the music should stop when the music goes, "You say it." That's when it should ideally stop. Obviously you could extend it or shorten it depending on what's at the end, but ideally that's where it should stop. If you don't see the screen marker, then just guesstimate roughly this area. So I'm just gonna delete that just to show you how to add the outro music. So again, you're gonna mark your in point at the very beginning and your out point at the green marker. Right here, 8:22 if you want the timestamp. You're gonna set your out point to this point. Now instead of double clicking the video and dragging all the way over here, we only want the audio. We don't want the video. So we're going to double click this audio channel, which is that it will say drag audio only. Double click. Now you're dragging only the audio. You're gonna put it into audio channel 1, which is what this thing is. The next thing is we want to make sure that the music starts as they're making the U. So we're gonna go back over. See, they're making the U right about here. So what we're gonna do is double click this, and we're gonna drag it to the playhead. So the music will start as they're making the U.
all about the you.
Now we're going to make the music increase in volume slowly. So it kind of like fades in. That's the idea. So it fades in. To change the audio on any audio channel, if you want to like make this any clip louder, what you need to do, say the audio right now, it's on audio channel 1. You need to click the line. You need to double click and drag this line down. What it'll do is it'll extend this audio channel. So now you see this line on the actual audio thing. So I could double click and drag up to make it louder or down to make it lower. But this just changes the volume for the entire thing. We only want just a little bit. Or not necessarily just a little bit. The idea is that it fades in. So I'm just going to hit Control Z to undo that. We want to add keyframes so it slowly fades in. I'm actually going to zoom in my timeline a little bit. What we're going to do is use the pen tool to make keyframes. It should be on this sidebar. Select the pen tool and you're going to make 2 dots roughly at the beginning. This dot at the very end, you're going to double click and drag it. Notice you're going to be able to drag it to wherever you want now. You're going to drag it to the bottom corner of this clip. And then you want to have this second dot about like 1 or 2 seconds away from this dot. So I'll put the playhead roughly where the audio starts.
It's all about the you.
So like 1 or 2 seconds is like roughly about here-ish, give or take. It doesn't have to be exact, but the point is that it fades in. So it actually sounds clean. So once you're done with that, it should kind of look like this.
That's all the news we have for you today.
Thanks so much for watching, and remember,
It's all about the you.
And then that's the outro. So this is basically the simplest form of the news, but there's one more thing that I have to explain to you. Now with the newer news that we're coming out with, we're going to have transitions that go to different segments. So let's play a little pretend here. Pretend that I'm actually going to go back to my selection tool. Pretend that these 2 clips are like different segments. So like sometimes we'll have, oh, here's Chloe's interview of the football team, and this is the actual news. Oh no, but this is a blooper reel. And back here is another segment that a student made. We want transitions that go to those different elements. So like I'm pretty sure the one we literally just filmed today, when I made this video, we did one where it was the news, but then we had a transition into a different segment, where we did sports. That's what I'm saying. We're going to need transitions that go into the sports. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. There's another asset here. It's called Titan TV Transition inside the Titan News Care package right here. And that has a transition that's already transparent. So this black is actually transparent, so you can see right through it. So the idea is you mark your endpoint at the very beginning of it, slide your cursor to the end, and mark your out point. Make sure there is actually audio with this clip, so you want to make sure you're dragging only the video. Only drag the video, or it's just going to look wonky. Well, it's not going to look wonky, it's going to sound wonky. It's because there's music under it. Make sure you only drag the video. Very important. You're going to drag it right smack dab in the middle of where the 2 clips change. So in between this clip and that clip, you're going to put it right smack dab in the middle. So when you play it, it should look like this.
But not required. That's all the news we have for you today.
It's a nice clean transition, and those should be used every time you're going into a new segment. Like what? Just don't use the transition if you're just like switching between these two. But this is just for pretend. If you're going into a new segment where like the people change, the setting changes, you're using that transition. You're also going to be using, I'm just going to delete this for now. Actually, I'll leave it. You're also going to be using this transition at the outro to transition out of the news. So it's going to be the same deal. Make sure you zoom in a little bit, not terribly close, just zoom in on your timeline a little bit. Again, make sure you mark your in and mark your out. You're going to drag only the video. Like eyeball the middle of it. Should look like this. And that is the gist of editing the news. Alright, once you have double checked the entire news, make sure you've done every aspect. Make sure it's all good. You have your transitions right, you have your outro right, you have the keyframes right for this audio. Now you're going to export the video. You're going to go up to this corner and hit export. And what you're going to get a whole new screen. Now over here is where you're going to see the entirety of your video that you're about to export. Just as a precaution, I'd like to make sure I set the range of this export, which basically means, if you only wanted to export from here, you mark your in, to all the way over here, you mark your out. Okay, it's only going to export that. But we want to make sure we're exporting the entire thing. So go to the very beginning of the video, mark your in, end of the video, mark your out. From there, you don't really have to change anything of the format. Just make sure it's a H.264. Just leave most of it at default settings. Important thing is location and title. For location, you're going to make sure you save it to the OneDrive where you not the OneDrive, sorry. Make sure you save it to the SD card where you originally imported the news. Make sure you save it to the SD card. Very important. Second thing, you're changing the title. Because I'm pretty sure Sean doesn't change it, but whatever is on here is what goes on YouTube. Make sure you change the title. Because Titan TV intro with transition as a YouTube video name isn't very pretty. So make sure you change the name of this to Titan TV News, capital N, News, and the date with underscores. So it's actually 10 right now. 10, 9, 21, 3. Alright, that's what it should look like. Titan TV News, the date, .mp4. Make sure you keep the mp4 because that's actually very important for formatting. And then you hit export and make sure it finishes exporting. And you're done. Once this exports, make sure another important thing is that you eject the SD card or things will get corrupted very quickly. Make sure you eject the SD card. If you don't know how to do that, ask Coach Sean. Make sure you're ejecting the SD card because things can get corrupted really fast. I'm trying to think. I think that's it. Again, if you have any questions, just talk to me or Coach Sean. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.